So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to build this particular Telegram mini app, and the title for this is actually Code Kinder, which is the name of my YouTube channel. And then I think I actually have a video where I just gave tips on how to build the Telegram mini apps, but we did not actually go into practicals with that. So I want us to use this video right now as a supplement to that video that I did earlier. So we'll be coding along as we go through the building of this particular mini app that we're having here right now. Okay, so we'll be writing some lines of code to be able to build this up, and I believe that quite a good number of you have been actually looking for a video like that. Okay, so if you have that opened up right here, you can hit on where we have something like start right here for the app to actually begin to run. All right, but when you first search for it, you will be able to, it will greet you with this particular interface. Okay, so let's hit on start, and then it's going to bring up this. Okay, so we have the logo of my website right here, and it says welcome to Code Kinder. Choose an option. So whatever you want to do right here, let's say you want to go to you want to view videos, you can touch here and it's going to provide you with this video link. Okay, so you can add as many video as you want. If you want to get my contact, you can touch on contact right here, and then you're going to go, it's basically going to show you my WhatsApp contact from here. Okay, so, and I know that there is quite a good number of apps that are actually running on Telegram right now where people normally mine something like cryptocurrency, and that part has to be done with something like you need to load a web page within Telegram. Okay, so that's just what that is. So building app on Telegram is actually very simple. So in fact, I have an example on how we can do that. You see this one that says contact us, about us right here. If I touch on this, we're going to see that it tries to open up a web page, complete web page. Okay, just this way. And if this was to be a page where you can mine cryptocurrencies, you can be touching on this particular icon, and then it will start mining the whatever that is actually you instructed them to actually do on that page. Okay, so that's just that. And I'm also going to show you how you can actually bring up this particular window. Okay, because I have I think if we go to search right here, and let's say we'll go to something like Lembot, and if you hit on something like start, you see that they do have such a browser, right? They do have such a browser that you can actually load, and then you begin to mine their currencies if you want to mine them. Okay, so that's just basically what I did with my own right there, which is with this particular place right here. Okay, so that's just that. So I will show you how to bring such a thing up, and then you can hopefully use it to build something really important. So without wasting much time, we're going to dive into building of the application right now. And to do this right now, we're going to start off by using a tool within that of the Telegram called Boatfather to be able to do this. And this is just basically the things that we have to do in the first place right here before we can actually move to other part, maybe by writing the lines of code that is actually going to help us establish all of these things that we're having here. So if we go back, I want us to go to the search box right here, and then I want you to search for something like Boatfather. Let's type it correctly. This is going to be Boatfather, and it's actually this particular one right here. Okay, you can tap on it, and then it's going to open up, and then you can start a chat with this particular interface right here. Okay, so the results you are seeing right here are the ones that I've actually done before now. Okay, but we're going to basically start afresh by asking it some questions right here. However, I want to clear this up so that this environment will be clean. All right, so this environment is clean. So basically, when you search for it in the first place and get in, this is what you are going to be greeted with. So if you touch on start, and then it's going to bring up all of these things right here, okay, for you. So those are just basically guides. You want to create a new boot, you do / this particular line right here, / new boat. If you want to view and edit your boat, you can use my boats right there, and we do have quite a good number of all those things right here. So the one we want to do right now without wasting more time, you can take your time to study the things we have in here, is to start with the new line, the first line right there, to create a new boat. So to do that, we're going to just do / and then let's go ahead and just do new boat, and then hit on enter, and then it says, all right, a new boat, and how are we going to call it? Please choose a name for your boat. Okay, so we're going to choose a name right now. So whatever you want to call your boat, you can go ahead and type it right here, and maybe I'm going to just do something like a Code Lord. Let's call this Code Lord. All right, and then hit on enter, and then it says good. Now let's choose a username for your boat. It must end in boat, like this. For example, we have Tetris boat or Tetris_boat right here. Okay, so we want to name the boat. We want to choose a username right now, but that username must contain a word called boat in it. Okay, so you can see an example right here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just say Code Lord, and I'm going to just do underscore boot like that, and then hit enter. And it says sorry, this username is already taken, so someone has actually taken that name before now. So if I do code lord, and I'm going to just do, let's do capital letter B BOT, which is code lord boot. I want to make this first one, okay, well, if it is all the first letters are all capital letters, that's still fine. So let's send this one and see. And it seems like this particular one works, right? It says done, congratulations on your new boot. You will find it at this particular link right here. Okay, so if you go to this particular link, you should be able to see this boot that we have right now. Okay, and you can now add a description, about section, and profile pictures. So the boot is actually up and running right now. But then we're going to need something. So if you take a look down here, you see where we have something like an API right here, API key rather. So we're going to need to copy this. So I want to copy that to the clipboard, and I want to make sure that I send that to myself on I want to put that in my email, right, guys. So let me do that right now. So this is going to be, if I open my email up right now, and then I want to go ahead and then write a new message to myself. So this is going to be to the lot of apps. Let's select a lot of apps, and within the body I want to paste that API, right, because I want to pick that up from my computer. That's why I'm trying to do this. So let's send this, and that must have been sent by now. I think it's okay, it's sent right now. However, if we go back to Telegram right now, and I want us to just test if we'll be able to find our boat right now. So if we do, let's see whether we'll find it. So if you get into this place, you can just do code load. Let's do, we're basically going to search for what is it called, our boot name, which we're going to just do code load, and we're going to just do this is going to be boot, and I think the first letter actually right here is I think it's actually in uppercase letter, so we'll do code load and then search for that. And then you see that it's a kind of a searches, and then find it right here. Okay, so this is it, code load, and look at the username, code load, at a code load boot right there. So we can go ahead and open that up, and you see that we basically have that right here. Okay, but the way that it is right now, we do not actually have anything within this particular place. Okay, but it's actually in existence right now. If you touch on start, you see that it doesn't actually do much, guys. So it doesn't do much. So the next thing I want to do right now is for us to go to my computer and then see how we can actually go ahead and be able to build something with this. All right, so let's go to my computer right now and then see how we can start building something reasonable right now. All right, guys, so we are switched to the desktop right now because we want to write some code. So I want to first of all create a folder for the application we want to build. So if we go to our file explorer, and I want to go to my drive, so if I open that up, and I want to go to my XAMPP, and I'll go to my HD doc. And by the way, we're already doing this with PHP, but you can use any other language if you really understand what we're doing. Okay, so I want to create an app that I'm going to just, let's call this mini app. Okay, something of that nature, and I want to open that mini app right now. I want to open that up with my Visual Studio Code. So if we go to, all right, so that basically going to open with our Visual Studio Code, and then all we need to do is just create some files in here. So I want to build like, let's build the index page first of all. So this is going to be index dot, this is going to be dot, so let's make sure we do dot php right there, and then open that up, and then within this particular page right now, I want to copy and paste just a tiny bit of a HTML, guys. So, and this is it, right? So we just have this basic HTML where we'll have our title right here, which we'll call the code kinder boots, or code lord. Let's call that code lord boots. Okay, since we named our stuff code lord that time, and we don't even have to do this, so let's just leave it at code lord boot right there. And then we do have this within this place where we'll have our h1, which is welcome to code kinder boot or code lord. Let's change that to code lord, and then we'll have our menus right down here. Okay, where we'll have the YouTube channel. I'm gonna just basically link people to my YouTube channel, and then for the WhatsApp right now, you can go ahead and then put your phone number right here. So I'm gonna just do 0704716. We'll have to save the changes, and then we'll have to create this folders and files right here, right? What I'm gonna do right now is that I want to first of all create the folder, which is actually called a CSS. So if you open this up, and then we'll hit on new, and let's create CSS file right here, folder rather. And if we go back here, we should be able to find that folder right there. Then we can create a file inside of it. So let's go ahead and then say styles.css. And that is it. So I want to get the CSS we want to use, just very basic. We don't need to stress ourselves so much about anything. let's get the CSS. All right, guys. So I do have the CSS copied to the clipboard, and I want to go ahead and paste that right here. So let's save the changes, and it's pretty very simple, right? What I want to do right now, I just want to solve for this. So if I go to my browser and I do localhost and then do mini app. Okay, so this is gonna be mini app. Open that up, and then this is basically what we have right now. Okay, so I just want it to be just like this. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to build the next file, which is actually the most important file that we want to build with this project. So I'm going to click here right now. Sorry about that. Let's select this and then hit on this, and this is actually going to be called a bot.php. Okay, so you can name it whatever you want to name that, but this is actually where the script for the bot is actually going to be. All right, so once the file is being created and you want to start typing your lines of code, so the first thing I want to bring in right now is going to be the API key, and I'm going to just basically call that token. So let's first of all, let's throw in our PHP tag first of all. So this is going to be PHP, and we can close that down here. But within this place, I want to create a variable that I'm going to just call token, which you can alternatively call a token or API, right? So let's go ahead and then throw in our token right here, which is our API key. And if you remember, we copied that and then sent that to ourselves through the email. So if I go back to the browser and open this page up, so you want to go ahead and then make sure you copy your own. Don't use mine. So I'm going to copy my own right now, and then let's go ahead and then put that right here. Okay, so this is actually my own. Even I'm actually going to delete this afterwards. But just do make sure if you want to experience everything by yourself, you need to like use your own API right here. So we'll have that right there. So the next thing is the API URL. So I'm going to do API URL like that, and we can go ahead and just set that to be equal to, and for that of the Telegram, it's actually located at https // and you're going to just do api.telegram.org, and you're going to do /, and the next thing is actually going to be bot, and you're going to just do slash, no, not really slash, but you're going to have to like attach this particular API key to that. But in our own case, we'll have that saved to this particular URL, this particular variable. So we're going to have to copy that and then put that right here. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and then paste that right here. Okay, and we can close that with a /. So what this means that we are just attaching this. Okay, we're just basically attaching this into that particular place. So if I copy this and then put it right here, if I put it right here, it's just simply basically the same thing. Okay, but I'm going to just stick to this particular concept right here. Okay, so that is just that on how to get the API URL. So let's go ahead and then terminate that particular line. Okay, so what happens is that if you want to go to this, if you want to visit this particular API, this Telegram API, you can just go ahead. Once you paste this particular URL on the browser, make sure you attach your own token. Okay, if you attach your own token, it's going to open up your bot for you. All right, but I'm not going to bother myself about doing that right now. So however, this is just basically what we have right now, and then the next thing we want to do on this is to just basically try to let's get some incoming update from Telegram down here. So let's put the comments and just say something like gate, and if you want to do that, it's really very simple. What I'm going to do right now, I want to create a variable right here, which I'm going to just call update. Score that update, and then go ahead and set that to, this is going to be file underscore get content on PHP. So we can go ahead and then show it. This is going to be PHP colon, and we're going to do // and then we'll do inputs. Okay, so if you watched my webhook URL or paste tag, you should be able to be familiar with what I'm actually doing right now. So what you want to do right now is you want to terminate this line, and whatever we get from this right now, I want to go ahead and then decode it. So for that, if you want to code that, what I want to do right now is down here, I'm going to just do update array. So let's create a variable and just say update. This is going to be array, and let's go ahead and set that to be equal to, this is going to be JSON. So this is going to be JSON underscore decode right there, and what are we basically decoding? We're decoding this particular thing here, this update variable right here. So let's go ahead and paste that in there. You can introduce a command and set the second value to true right there, so that we can grab this as an array. Okay, so that's just basically what that is right now, guys. All right, so this typically serves as something like a webhook URL for us right now, or our webhook script right now. Okay, and I just want you to know it that Telegram actually sends your responses through a webhook URL. And if we want to do this right now on our local machine, this isn't going to actually work. We need to have this hosted online before we'll be able to do this successfully. And if we want to do that right now, that means that we need to have a host. So I'm going to upload these files that we're having here right now to my online host and then see what we can actually do with it. And to do that, if I go back to Alright guys, so I'm actually logged into one of the hosts that I normally use. So I do have a website that you can find. If we go to Loic here, right here, open that up, .ng. I want to be able to upload to this particular place, somewhere around this place right here. Okay, maybe I'm going to just add something like / and then add something like mini app. So that's just basically what I'm going to do right now guys. So let's open that part up, but for now, and that part doesn't actually exist right now, so let me upload to this directory and then I'll come back to you guys. All right, so I've decided to actually show you guys what I'm actually doing right here. So I'm in my public directory right now. So what I want to do is to just create that folder that I just mentioned, which is mini app. And let's go ahead and then hit on create folder, and that folder is actually going to get created. So I want to open that up and then I can upload those files to this particular directory. Okay, however, I want to first of all create the CSS folder. Let me just do CSS right here and then hit on create. And the CSS, sorry about this is actually supposed to be a folder, right? So I want to delete that. So how do I do that? If I hit on this, hit confirm. So this is actually supposed to be a folder CSS, and let's hit on create and the folder is created. However, let me open that up and then upload the CSS. I'm going to hit in here and go to my local machine, which I'm going to open right here. Let's open this up and let's go to XAMPP, HD docs and mini app. Let's go to mini app, open the CSS, and I want to upload that CSS to that directory. And that one is right there. So the next one I want to do, I want to close this, is to go ahead and then let's go up one more direction, and within this directory right here, which is in the mini app, I want to upload the index. Let's go to upload and let's go and upload the index. So if we go to mini app on my system, I want to upload the index, and that has been uploaded. So the next one is actually the boat, which is the script, the web URL, okay, or the webhook URL rather guys. So I want to upload that also. And now we do have that right here. Okay, so if we refresh this page right here, where is reload? So this is basically the structure of our application right now, right? So we do have that. Now the next thing we want to do, basically we want to test if Telegram will be able to see this particular webhook URL that we have actually created. Remember that boot.php is actually going to be our webhook URL. And to do that, I have some code that I've actually copied and pasted. So what I'm going to do right now, look at the URL the code you need to run on your web browser. Okay, so if you take a look at this URL right here, we can interpret this. This actually goes to the API, which is almost the same thing that we'll have up here. Okay, so if we put all of these things together, which is the API token and then the API URL. So here you need to paste in your what is it called? This is basically going to be your token right here, right? So for that reason, I want to copy my token right here. So I'm going to just go ahead and then copy that, and let's replace that with this. So I'm going to take this away and then paste that, right? And then after that, we are going to need to set the webhook URL right here. Okay, the webhook URL is actually going to be located right here. And if you take a look at our structure right here, this is basically going to go to Loic here, mini app, and then / this particular boot that we have here, right? So what we want to do to represent that is really very simple. It means that we can go ahead and then do, let me just copy the Loic here URL from here. So this is going to be, yeah, so particularly this is gonna be this. So if I copy that, and by the way, if we refresh this page now, this should be available by now, right? So this is available online right now. This is live. So if we go back in here, what I want to do is to go ahead and paste that, which I've copied into the clipboard right here, and I'm going to do a / and then mention the webhook URL, which we actually call the boot.php, like that. I think that this is just how it should be. So just try your best to make sure that you represent your own this way. So if you just here where we have a query parameter URL, this is the full path to that particular app that we have, bot.php. So mention your domain name, then the mini app, which is the folder, and then the file name right there. So I want to copy this or even cut it. I don't need to even have it here after this. So if I go back to the web browser, I want to open a new tab and I want to go ahead and paste that right here. So I want to go ahead and run. let me see whether it's actually going to be communicating with my file. Okay, so it says that it says true right here. Okay, so okay, and we get the result to be true, and it says webhook was actually set. That means that it's actually correct. Okay, so we can even alternatively run another line right here, which I think I already got it down here. Okay, we can run this particular line, which we just want to make sure that our token is actually the same with that which I have down there. So I want to take this token away and paste the one that we are basically using right here. Okay, so if we copy this line or even cut it, so I want to cut that and then take away all of these things that we have in here. And if we go to our browser, open a new tab, paste that just to test whether that's a kind of a works or not. Okay, so look at it. api.telegram.org. Then this is going to go with your token right here, and then we'll go to, after that we're going to just say get webhook info. So I'm going to hit enter, and if you take a look in here, you see that it works just fine. Okay, so look at the URL right here. Okay, this is miniapp.php, and that's basically where it will be sending our responses to. Okay, so among other things that we basically have right here. So I want to close out this. It works just fine, and also close this, and that is just that on that line, guys. So all right, so let's take this further. So the next thing we want to do right now is to extract the chat ID and the messages that is actually being sent to us through that of the webhook URL that we have in here. Okay, and I know that quite a good number of you may be confused, but we are going to basically do something as we move along. Okay, so but basically let's just put a comment right here, just say extract or even the callback. Okay, because we're going to be getting some callback URLs from that of the Telegram. Okay, so we're going to just do that. So to do that, what I want to do right now is if we go ahead and then begin to try to fetch all of the things that we basically want to fetch right now. Let's say for instance I want to fetch the chat ID, so they're going to be chat ID, and I want to set that to be equal to, and basically everything that is actually getting sent back to us is actually going to be stored in this particular variable right here, right? So for that reason, we can just go ahead and just do, this is going to be update array, and we can go ahead, because we have actually set this to make use of arrays, we can actually use square brackets. So if I do square right here, and within this particular place, I'm going to throw in my message. So this is going to be message. So we'll have message right here. But then after message, we're basically going to get into another index that is actually called a chart. So this is going to be chart. And after we grab onto the chart, we need to grab onto the ID, right? And I know that you guys will be confused about what I'm doing right now, but don't worry, I'm going to show you something right now. However, let me even save this right now so that you can get the clear picture of what I'm actually doing right now. So remember, this isn't actually online even though, but then what I want to do is this, within this particular line right here, okay? I want to be able to, I want to get all of the things that is getting sent back to us through that of the Telegram. I know that if I do something like var_dump or print out right here, we can go ahead and then maybe pass in this particular variable right here. Okay, so we can pass this in here. That's the normal thing that we normally do, right? But some server actually reject this quite a lot of time. Okay, so what I want to do right now, instead of making use of this, I just want to force this to be able to create a file. If everything works just fine, it should create a file within that of my server and then put all of the code or all of the responses within that particular file. So to do that, there is a function that is actually called a file put content, and the content we basically want to put right now is actually going to be that of the Telegram. So we're going to just do that right here. So this is going to, I want you to create a file and then put the content inside of that particular file. So let me create a log file right here. So this is going to be telegram underscore update underscore log, not underscore log but dot log. Okay, so this is going to be log. Okay, so this time around it's not actually going to be underscore log, but I just wanted to create a log file and then put all of the content inside of that particular place for me. So instead of uploading everything in here, I just want to go back and then paste this particular line in that what is it called, that file called the boot, which is right here. So I want to open this up. I want to hit on edit and hit on edit right here, and I just basically want to go ahead and paste this particular line in here. Okay, so, and if I save the changes right here, and I will have that right there already saved. So what I want to do is that if I open up my Telegram app right now and then try to hit on maybe start button right there, you're going to notice that something is actually going to happen within this particular place. Okay, so let's refresh this page. There's nothing in here for now. This is a reload. We do not actually have that file on this particular place. So this particular file is going to get created. If everything works just fine, it's going to get created. So let's go to our Telegram and then see what we can do within from our Telegram right now. All right, guys. So instead of drifting around, I've decided to connect my screen, the screen of my phone, to the laptop. So let's open up this right here, which is Telegram. And we'll have that open. We want to go ahead and then find our code lot, which is right here, right? So I want to open that up. And this is what we basically have in here, right? So I want to clear everything that we had earlier before now, right? And then this is what it is right now. Okay, so we can go ahead and hit on where it says start right here. So I've actually hit on start. So basically that's just all we need to do right here. Nothing else is actually coming up, but then we can actually go ahead and then check our this file directory right now. If we reload this page, if everything works fine, that file should actually be created. So let's reload that. Okay, so that did not actually create, so we need to find out. Let's open up this error log right here. Okay, so this one is the one that comes from the server. If we open that up, I want to get that selected first, and let's go to view. And it says look at the repo right here. 1 in 5 content, expect at least 2 parameters. Okay, it expects 2 parameters. 1 is actually given, so let's go back to that right here. Okay, I think we made some mistakes right here. There's actually going to be a comma right here, and then we're going to actually need this particular variable right here called updates. And I'm sorry I did not kind of remember to do that before now. So let's put that right in. So have that update, and then we can concatenate that update onto this particular thing right here, which is actually called a php underscore eol comma, and we're going to need a file underscore append right there, just to help it be able to append some files onto that for us. Okay, so this is just basically what it is right now. So once you get your Telegram the file you want it to create, which is right here, and the next thing is for you to be sure that you're passing the update variable update, then you concatenate onto this php underscore eol right there, and then you say file underscore append. So let's save the changes right here, and then we'll go back to our Telegram, and I want to try this again, guys. So again, I want to still clear this out, clear that out, and then let's hit on start. I've done that, so let's go back in here and then let's refresh, and let's see whether, oh sorry, I think that's not the right way to actually refresh that. Let's double click on this and let's go to mini app, and then you can now see that that file has been created. Look at Telegram underscore updates right here. Okay, so we can open this up and then go to what am I going to do with this right now? I just want to let me select that and then go to edit, even though we're not going to basically edit anything that is inside of that place, but I just want to see how the file is. Let's open that up. You can alternatively click on view instead of trying to edit the file. Okay, so but let's open that up this way, and then you see that all of those things that I'm basically typing right now actually coming from here. Look at, just by hitting on start alone that we did on that, look at what it's brought back to us. Update the ID right there, the message that you are seeing right here. Look at it right here. Okay, so this is the message, and after that we have this is the message ID. From here you will get to see the bot ID. This is my name, this is the information. So first name, last name is actually there, and just basically everything. So the chart that we have in there, look at chart right here. Okay, we have chart array right here, and you can grab onto the ID of the chart. Just take your time to study this, guys. So I'm just basically getting all of those things that I'm typing right there from this particular place. So, and I hope that you guys kind of capture that, right? So let's move on. So if we go back to our development environment right now, and let's make sure we kind of correct what we had here earlier. I want to copy the code that we left right here. So this particular line of code, even though I'm gonna like keep that, I'm gonna just basically do not need to have to leave that open, but let me just copy and paste that in case you guys are actually gonna need that for reference. So you can comment that out right now if you want to, and that is just that. So we can proceed with bringing out the things that we have in here. So the next thing is actually gonna be I'm gonna just do this right here, and let's go ahead and say update array, and we can grab onto the callback URL right here. So this is gonna be, let's do single quotes right here. So this is gonna be callback underscore, this is going to be query, not URL. So this is going to be callback query, and after that we're going to work on the message. And once we grab onto the message, next thing we want to grab onto is going to be the chart. So let's make sure it's actually in quotes. This is going to be charts, and after that this is going to be charts, and then we'll get the ID right here. So this is going to be ID, and that's all we need on that particular line. Okay, so the next line is actually going to be for us to grab onto the message. So with that, the line up there, we've gotten all the IDs, right? Well, the ID for the message and then the ID for the chart. So down here, we want to grab onto the message itself. So I'm going to create a message variable right here. Let's say message, and let's go ahead and then, of course, we're going to do almost the same thing. This is going to be, so I'm going to just copy this and then paste that on the next line. And after message, the next thing we want to grab right here is actually going to be the text. So I'm going to just do quotation and let's do text for us to be able to grab the text. Okay. And then after that, we can just do this right here, and then we'll set that to null. All right, so let's go ahead and then terminate this line. And then the next thing is actually the callback URL. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable and just say callback, and it's actually the data, not really a URL. Okay, but we just say data right here, and then we'll go ahead and then paste that, which we'll have on the clipboard, and we'll change this from what it is right now. Instead of message, it's going to be called, let's call that callback underscore query, right? So this is going to be underscore query. And then the next one will go into the data. Let's put that in quotes. This is going to be data, and after we work on the data, callback underscore query, we have data right here. And then the next one, we're going to just do null right here. Okay, so that is it on that particular line. So the next thing we want to do right now is we're going to basically create a function down here. So let's put a comment here and just say function to actually send maybe a plain text. If you want to send a plain text, we can just do plain text right here, or HTML formatted message. Okay, and then if you want to do that, I'm just going to use the keyword. If you say function right here, and then let's go ahead and then name the function. This is going to be send message, and then within this particular function, we're going to need a couple of things right here. The first thing is actually going to be the chart ID. So we're going to just do chart ID right there, and we're going to introduce a comma, and after that we're going to need the text. So we're going to just do text, and do not worry about some of these variables that I'm just making use of right now. We're going to create them below. Okay, we're going to create them below. Okay, so we haven't actually created the variable for that of the text yet, but we're going to do that. So the next thing we want to do is to go ahead and then create a net variable, which is actually going to be for the pass mode. And what this is actually going to do for us is really very simple. We just want to make sure that we'll pass the HTML properly so that it can actually interpret that. Okay, in case we ever want to use something like, let's say, to break a line, or even add something like a paragraph or bold. If we want to do that, we can actually do that. So let's set that to be equal to, this is going to be HTML this way. Okay, so we're setting that to HTML, right? And let's throw in our curly brackets right here. And then the first thing we need right here is actually going to be the API URL, right? So I'm going to do API URL, and we can terminate that. And I know that this may have an issue being available maybe down there. So what we want to do right now is let's just attach the keyword called a global right here. So I'm going to just do global to make that a global variable, and we'll have that right there. So the next thing we want to do is to set the URL. So this is going to be the URL, and we'll go ahead and then let's set that to, of course, it's going to be equal to API URL, which we'll have above, and then we want to concatenate onto the send message chart right there. We want to send this text in here, which is basically going to be send. And we can do send message, and we'll throw in a query parameter right here, which is actually going to be the chart ID, and we can set that to be equal to, so right here we're going to do chart ID, concatenate onto that, and again we're still also going to concatenate onto a text. So this is going to be text, and let's add an ampersand right here. So this is going to be text, and send that to be equal to, let's close the bracket right here and concatenate onto the one URL. We want to put that in a URL encoded format. Okay, so to do that, we can concatenate that onto this particular function right here called the URL. Cool. So this is going to be URL encode, and let's go ahead and then pass in text right here. Okay, and the next thing we want to do, we're still going to have to concatenate onto that pass mode right there. Okay, so this is going to be dots. I'm going to throw in the quotation sign and then ampersand right here, and then we do something like a pass. So this is going to be pass underscore mode, and we'll send that to be equal to, concatenate onto the URL, and then we'll go ahead and then, of course, that's actually going to be pass underscore mode, right? So let's terminate that line. So that's actually going to be underscore pass underscore mode right there. All right, so that is just that on that particular line. So the next thing we want to do on that line is to go ahead and then get the content. Okay, so to do that, we want to use a function called fy underscore get content. So let's make sure this is underscore get content, and which content we basically want to get is just going to be the URL. So basically going to get the URL right here. So let's terminate that particular line right there. And that is it on how to create a function to be able to send a plain text or HTML formatted text. All right, so we're going to need like 2 more functions. So I'm going to copy this right now and then paste that on the next line. So let me paste this right here. And then I want to change this comment right here. In case we want to send something like an image, we can just say function to send an image. So let's do an image with a caption, okay, in case you want that to have a caption. So you can do with a caption right here. So I want to take away the rest of the thing right here. So right here, we want to change the function name. So instead of message right here, let's call this something like photo. So this is going to be, let's type that correctly. This is going to be photo. That means we're going to create that function right here. Then we're going to need the chat ID, but we're going to use here, what we're going to need is actually going to be the photo URL. So I'm going to just do photo underscore URL. And then after that, we're going to need the caption right here. Okay, so this is actually going to be caption, and then we'll go ahead and set that to, of course, this is going to be sent to nothing right there. Okay, then within this particular place, we need to the API URL is actually going to stay right, and then on this particular line right here, instead of saying something like send message, we want to change this from message to something like photo. This is going to be photo. So send photo, and then we're going to basically need the chat ID right there. So this is going to be the chat ID, but then we're going to basically concatenate that onto photo instead of text right there. So this is going to be photo, and then we put this sort of using text right here. This is going to be photo URL dot caption, okay, and then we'll concatenate that onto caption right here. So this is going to be caption. Let's make sure I type that correctly. This is going to be caption, and then after that, well, of course, we're going to change this from what it is right now to, so we have a caption right here, but then we can do URL and code caption right here. So I'm going to just, let's take this away and just do URL and code, and we are basically going to need caption in this place. So this is going to be, let's make sure that is actually a caption. So let's create the variable and just call that caption. Okay, just like that, right? So this is it. And then finally, we're going to just kind of get this right here. Okay, so we'll grab onto the URL right there. So the last thing we need is actually going to be, I'm going to just go ahead and paste what I have in the clipboard already, and we're going to basically work on a different function, which is actually going to be a function that is actually going to allow us to send a message with an inline keyboard. Okay, so we want to be able to have an inline keyboard with that place. So let's say function to send, this is going to be an inline keyboard like that, and to do it is really very simple. So what we want to do, of course, we're going to need let's change the function name first of all. So this is going to be inline keyboard, inline, send inline keyboard, right? So let's make sure let's make the first letter right here capital letter. So we have inline, and keyboard is also the key right here is actually also in capital letter. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. So we do have our chat ID, which is compulsory right there, and then we have text also. We're going to need that, but then what we're going to need right here is not going to be all of the things that we have in here. So we're basically going to need a variable we haven't actually created, but we'll create that. So this is going to be keyboard, and we'll create that shortly. Maybe right down there after this particular thing that we're editing right now, we're going to do that. Okay, so on the next line, we have the API URL right here, and then we'll have our URL down here, and we're setting that to API URL, and right here we're sending, we're doing the send message underscore ID, and we'll set that to this chat ID right here. And of course, we're going to need text because we do have text right here. So the next thing we need is going to be that of the keyboard input. Okay, so to do that, we're going to change this text right here. Instead of pass mode, we can maybe basically do something like a reply underscore, or maybe something like markup. So we do markup right here. Okay, so reply underscore markup, and then we want to basically put that, we want to encode that, right? So to do that, we're going to do JSON. I'm going to do this is going to be JSON underscore encode, and basically what we want to encode right here is actually going to be the keyboard, right? So we need to change this variable right here instead of what it is right now to keyword, like that. Okay, so that's just basically what that is. Okay, so that's why we are just creating all these functions that we're basically creating right now. All right, so the next thing I want to do right now is, I think this line is actually okay, should stay. So all right, so that's just basically those things right there. And maybe the next thing we want to do, if we want to have something like, let's say, buttons on the web interface, we can actually do that. In fact, let's do that down here. Okay, so instead of they typing all those things, we can also provide a way where they should be able to have buttons. I think we already even did that, because if we check our browser right here, and let's check right here, and we open this up. I think if we go to the former one that we built, which is actually this is going to be Code Kinder, and you see that we have some buttons right here. Okay, so this is channel, this is video, this is contact, and then this is about. Okay, so that's just basically what we want to add to this right now. So if we go back to the development environment, and I want to create a what is it called, a comment right here, and just say define the inline like that. And then to do it, we are going to do that in form of an array. So I'm going to create a variable. First of all, this is going to be keyboards. This is going to be the variable that we've actually used earlier before now. So we're creating that right now. We're also going to create the one that is actually meant for text. So let's do that right now. So this is going to be array. We're going to let's throw in our array right here. I want to go ahead and immediately terminate this line because I don't want to forget that. But then within this particular array right now, I'm going to create another array, which first of all, let me just throw in an index right here. So this is going to be inline underscore keyboard that, and we can go ahead and then set that to be equal to this particular array right here. All right. So I want to throw in another square brackets right here, which is right here. And then within this particular place, let me create my first array right here, or my first key value page right here. So this is actually going to be text, and we want to go ahead and then set that to be equal to, maybe this is actually going to be channel. So let's do channel right here, and let's make sure I type that correctly, channel. And once people are able to, I want people to be able to see this channel right here as a button within the web page. Okay, so once they get into the interface, we want them to see this channel right here, and if they see it, we want to also be able to give it a URL, a link rather, right? So to do that, we can just, if we do URL this way, we can go ahead and then set that to be equal to whatever that we want it to basically go. So in my own case, I'm going to set that to HTTPS, and I'm going to set them to YouTube. So this is going to be youtube.com/ and I want them to go to Code Kinder. Okay, so I want them to basically go to Code Kinder, which is basically the place I want to actually send them to, right? All right, and I think I made a mistake by leaving this right here. Okay, so this should actually alternatively just be located right here. Okay, so that's just basically the first item in that particular array. And then in the next one that I basically want to create right now is going to be for the videos. Okay, so let me just copy this so that it will be faster for me. So if I copy that and then paste on the next line, and what I want to do, we do have text right here, but what I want people to see is actually called a video or videos, whatever you want to type. Okay, so I want to just do videos, right? And you can add multiple videos if you want to do that. Okay, so here is the next thing right here. So instead of just sending them to the URL right there, we can do a callback if we want them to like see the link of the video within that particular place once they touch on it, and then we will get a response as a callback right there. Okay, so if we do callback underscore data, and what we want to do right here is we're going to just send them to this is basically going to be okay, we'll send this to, this is going to be URL right here. So I'm going to just do URL, and we're going to use arrow again, and then be able to send them to wherever we want to send them to. So in this case, if you have a video and you know the URL of the video, you can go ahead and set that to this particular place. So what I want to do right now is if I go to my channel right now, let me do YouTube, on that up. All right, so let's get the URL right there, and then if we go back in here, I'm going to go ahead and then stick that to this particular place. Okay, so I'm going to just copy and paste that URL. So once they touch on it, it's going to basically attempt to bring up that video. Okay, so the link of the video is actually going to be displayed. When you touch on it, you can open up in a new tab. Okay, so that's just what that is. And then let's make sure we put our closing quote in here. I think I removed that. So that's just that on that. I think I even made a mistake right here. I think what I basically would like to do is to be able to not just show them only one video. I want them to be able to see once they click on the link that I'm going to return to them, I want them to see all of the videos that I have. Okay, so for that reason, I'm going to take away these, and I'm going to just do videos, right? And for that reason, I'm basically not going to need this URL right here. So I want to take away the URL parameter right here. So we'll basically have this right here, text set to videos, and then we'll have the callback data. And what basically we're going to actually return is going to be just videos. Okay, so that's just that on getting that particular one right there. So I want to terminate this line, and then I want to create another array right here, which I'm going to just basically do with square brackets, and then within this particular array we can create those other ones which still going to be similar to this. In fact, I don't even need this closing what is it called, bracket, what is it, that's just basically a comma right there. So you need to take away the last comma in there if you're not really creating another item next to that. Okay, so that is just that on that line. So the next array that I want to build on right now is basically going to be this. And what I want to do is to grab onto the contact. So I'm going to just do contact. So if we have the contact right there, I want to add a callback data right here. And if I do that, what I basically want to get is going to be, I'm going to just do contact right here. Okay, so we'll do contact in there. We can separate that with a comma. And then on the next line, what we want to do is to set something like an about us page. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste that. Of course, I'm going to need text, and let's change this to about us. This is going to be about, and right here, instead of using something like a callback, since what we want is once someone touched on the about us page, we want to be able to like pull up a web page. Okay, so we're not going to need this. In fact, I still want to demonstrate that from my phone right here. So if we go to our browser right here and I open up this, so if we open this right now, and this is the former one we'll be working on, right? So if I touch on the about us page right here, you see that it brings up a new web page. You see how it pulled up this particular web page? That's what I want to achieve with that. So let's go back to the development environment. So if we get back in here, instead of using callback data, what I want to do is just do web underscore app. Let's do app right here. Let's type app correctly. So this is web underscore app, and we can use arrow and then go ahead and then set the URL that we want to basically set. And even though we haven't actually created this yet, but this is basically going to go to, let me try to copy. I'm going to copy this mini app and go back in here and let's paste that right here. But then if it gets into that particular place, I want it to go to a page that we haven't actually created, but we're going to create that in a moment, which is actually called about. All right, so let's do dash about us and we're going to do .php. And I know that we haven't actually created this particular file. Okay, so we should be able to create that in a GIF, you guys. So that's just that. If we scroll down, we want to create the rest of the things that we need in here. We want to handle incoming messages. So I want to put a comment here and just say handle incoming messages. And to do that, we're going to use if statement to do all of those. Okay, so I'm going to just do if, let's say that someone gets into the system. I want to still show you this right now. So if I go back to my browser right here and then I get into a mirror right here. Okay, so if we go back here, and someone gets into our system and the person types something like, let's say he goes ahead to type something like start like this and then send, we want to be able to know what to respond to the person. You see what has just been responded, right? So if the person types start or something of that nature, we want to see what we can actually respond. If the person types something like, let's say /, this is going to be, let's say channel, and then hit on send, we want to be able to respond to the person with some information or some messages right there. All right, so let's go back to our development environment. Remember, we're going to use if statement for all of that. So within here, let's first of all pick the message variable. So if we do message right here, and let's say that what the person typed as a message is, let's say it's going to be /start. And what do we want to do if someone actually types something of this nature? Okay, so let's put a comment here, just say send a welcome message. Okay, so to send a welcome message, we're going to do that down here. And basically, remember that the one that we just presented, we were sending that with something like a photo, right? And that's what we worked on, or we created a function about photo right here. Where is it? Right here. I think it should be on this line. So right here, so we should be able to send photos, right? So we have the function in place. So to be able to send the photo is really cool. So what we want to do, first of all, I'm going to do photo variable right here, which is photo URL variable. And I want to go ahead and set that to be equal to, I want to send that to the following URL. All right, so we do have that right here. So what we want to do is to be able to send the photo URL, because all of the photos that are actually present within that of our web directory, they do have their URLs. Okay, so what I want to do first of all is, I'm going to copy this URL first of all, and let's go ahead and paste that right here. And what I want to do, instead of this which we have in here, I should be able to put an image right there. Okay, so I think we'll have the one that we call a code kinder, and it was a .png. Okay, so that's just basically the stuff right there. And I want to go ahead and then upload that immediately. So if we go back to our development environment, I want to go to where we are basically uploading our files, which is on this particular place. Let me go ahead and upload an image to this particular directory. So if we open this up and I want to go to pictures, And if I hit on code kinder, all right, so I want to have this particular image on that particular place. So let's upload that. Okay, so we have that right here. So within our webhook URL, of course, if you want to view this right now, if we reload this particular place, and if you try to open this on a new tab, there'll be no need. I know that you guys actually know what to do on that, but then what you basically want to do right here is, okay, I think we've actually put that already, guys. So we basically already have that. So this is codekinder.png. So this URL that we're having here should perfectly bring that in, okay? So that's just that on that particular line. And then we can go ahead and then terminate that particular line. So this is just basically photo. I'm going to just do photo URL, okay? So that's just that on that particular line. And then after that, for us to be able to send that, we need to call the function called the send photo right here. So this is going to be called send photo. And of course, we're going to need the chat ID. So within this place, we're going to do, this is going to be chat ID. And after that, we'll pass in the photo URL. So this is going to be photo URL. And that just sits on that particular line. Okay. Then on the next one, we want to also at the same time be able to send some text underneath that particular photo. So after the photo, we want to send a message right there that will say something like a welcome to Code Kinder, right? So let's do that right now. So I'm going to just do text, and let's go ahead and set that to be equal to this following strings, which is going to be welcome. We can, if we want to break the line, we can just do / and then add an end right here. And that's just that. And then after that, we can make use of the send the inline keyboard function down here. So we can just do send inline keyboard, and this is going to need a couple of parameters. The first one is actually going to be the chat ID, and after that we're also going to need the text. So this is going to be text, and sorry about that. And then finally it's going to need the keyboard variable, so passing the keyboard variable right there. And that just hits on how you can basically get a photo and then a welcome message on that particular screen, right? And the next one we're going to do else if maybe the person typed something else. So we can do else if right here. And within the else if right here, what we want to do is maybe the person typed something like a photo. So we want to be able to send them a photo, right? So I'm going to just do if message is actually equal to, and I think I made a mistake up here. So I was supposed to do equal to right here. So thank God I remember that right now. Could have been faced with a lot of issue at a later time, but thank God I remember that. And within this place right now, if someone do something like photo, and what do you want to do if they send something of that nature? Okay, so the first one is actually going to be I want to copy this and then paste that down here, and then of course we are basically going to return the photo to the person right there, and then we use the photo function right here. We are going to go ahead and then call the photo function right here, and then if we like, we can still append a message right here, which is going to be something like, let's put that as a string. This is going to be welcome. Okay, so this is going to be welcome to code launch boot, something of that nature, guys. So we can have something of that nature right there on that particular line. All right, so I think all right, so pretty much the next thing that we need to do right here is to be able to handle callback data from the inline keyboard buttons. So if they did not actually type like a / as a command, and they did not type something like this, maybe they just hit on one of those buttons that we have in here. How do we want to handle the stuff? So let's say handle. Okay, so to do that, let's use if statement. I'm going to just do if, and within this particular if statement, I'm going to just check whether the callback data is actually set. So if I do that right now, within this particular place, I can go ahead and test another thing that I want to test. Okay, so for that, I'm going to just use another if statement. And what I want to basically do is, if someone clicked maybe on videos, or someone clicked on something like contact, depending on whatever you want to do. So let's first of all do something like videos right here. So if you clicked on video, so on videos right there, and I think I'm actually incorrect with what I just typed right here. So we need to do something like callback like this, and this is going to be data, and let's set that to equal to videos. Okay, if what they typed or what is actually present in the callback data is actually equal to videos, what do you want to respond to them? So just basically what that line means. Okay, so right here we want to be able to send, this is going to be a send message. So let's bring in the send message function, and then it's going to need a couple of parameters, and the first one is actually going to be the chat ID. So let's do chat ID, introduce a comma, and what's basically the message we want to output to them. So we can just say here the latest, maybe throw in this right here, and this is basically going to be a URL, right? So let's do href. So if I put my href right here, and basically this is, I think we do have our YouTube URL right here. So if I copy not this but this particular one right here, I'm going to copy that, and then if we go back down there, I want to go ahead and then paste that in here. Okay, but that basically needs to be, I think it needs to be in quotes, right? So this is going to be in single quotes, and let's put that in here, and I'm going to do /videos. I think it should, someone should be able to get to all of their videos if you do a / your YouTube URL. Okay, so that's just that. So I want to close this right here, and then let's say videos, and let's also go ahead and then close the a tag in here, and that just should be it, guys. So that just basically be that, and then down here we can do an else part. Okay, so for some other conditions, okay, so I'm gonna just do not just else but else if, let's say that this time around someone is actually searching for, let's say, our contacts. If they click on the button for that of the contacts, what do we want to do? So let's change this to contacts. Okay, so let's make sure type that correctly. If you don't type it correctly, it will misbehave. So if the callback data is equal to contact, what do you want to do for the contact right now? So we can still use send message right here, right? So I want to copy this, and then we should remember to terminate this line, guys. So do remember to terminate this line, because we'll be having an issue if we don't do that. So I want to paste that in here, and what I want to do with this is to send a message. We want to need the chat ID, and within this place we can just change the message right here, and just say we can just say contact us on, let's say, WhatsApp via, and we can go ahead and then we kind of paste the WhatsApp URL or whatever number that could actually be. Okay, so with WhatsApp you can just do https. So I want to take this away. You can just do wa.me/, you can go ahead and then enter your phone number right here. So I'm going to just do 07047164748, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and then terminate that particular line right there, and I think that that should just be able to do this for us, guys. So it's been a long one, so let's just try to re-upload this back to our server and then see how that is actually going to respond. So if we go back to our development environment, I mean our browser, and then I want to go ahead and then do the uploading. So I'm going to hit on upload, and let's go to select file, and I want to go to mini app right here, okay, which is right there within our hdocs, and I want to go ahead and send this boot back to that place, and I hit on yes, and that has been kind of uploaded. But then I want to create another file. I want to copy this page and then create a new file. So I'm going to hit on this, and that's going to be about us dash us, like that, .php. Open that up and then paste that, and then we can change, this is about us page, and we can just do about and code load, and then within this place we may not need this, all of these things that we have in here, but we can just do h1 right here. Let's do, and we say welcome, let's just say about load boot, and let's terminate this. This is going to be h2. Let's do h2 right here. Kinder, this is going to be code kinder, right? This is going to be code kinder.png, and we can go ahead and do alt for alt, and we can say logo right there, and that should just be it. Let's save the changes and then re-upload that. Upload that. This is the first time we're trying to do that, right? So that's about us, and let's go ahead and then upload that, and that is actually present. So I want to check if they are really present or not. So that's about dash us.php, and that one loads just fine, and that's okay. So now what we want to do is just go ahead and then test our app if this is actually working or not the way that we believe it should be actually be working. Okay, so to test that is really very simple. Let's open up our stuff right here, and I want to go back to code load, right? So if I go back in here, this is code load, and I want to go ahead and then clear everything that we have in here. And if it clears, and we can hit on start. Okay, so we do not actually receive any response right here. If I do channel right here, all right, so we basically do not have anything showing right here. So that means we may be having some issues that we are unaware of. So if we go to, so if we look for where's our files and folders, I want to, first of all, let me reload this page. I want to reload this page right now. And then I want to open up this log right here. Okay, so let's open that up and find out what current errors we have in there. All right, so this is the error. So this is the first one we had right here, right? So we want to move to maybe the last thing in here, which is talking about, this is warning use of undefined a constant array, update array, and that's actually happening on this particular file, and is on line 15 right there. So if we open this up, in fact, let's go back in here first of all, and let's go to both, and let's check for line 15 right here, and I think we'll have there is a mistake right here. So we're supposed to have the $sign, and I believe that you guys must have seen this before me. So let's save the changes. It's just trying to interpret that in form of a constant, but it should basically be a variable. And you see this line right here that is actually showing red, and that should be, let me just hover on it. Okay, so that's just because I'm running a lower version of a PHP on this machine. Okay, but if I upload that online, I shouldn't be having that issue. Okay, so let's go ahead and also I want to re-upload. So let's go ahead and then re-upload this file right now to our browser. So if we go back to, I want to click on upload again, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of doing that again and again. So let's re-upload this, and let's hit on yes, and that has been completely re-uploaded. So we can check this again. So I'm going to open my phone up, let's swipe up, and we are right here. I want to clear everything that we have in here, clear the history, and everything is actually gone. I'm sorry about that. I closed that by it's a mistake that I closed that. So we have that right here. So if we hit on start, let's see what is going to happen, and we still do not actually get anything back. And let's still check the error page again. Let me go back to that error page and then refresh. I want to see the latest error on this page, and then if we check that on the last line here, it says file content telegram, and okay, we do have a couple of errors. So down here, I want to start debugging this from this particular line right here, right? So let's check why this is actually there. And this is happening on line 28, and then this one is also line 28, and then the next one is on line 35. What's actually wrong with this? So if we read this HTTP, okay, look at what the file is actually getting back right here. This is T right here. I think that should be basically be the problem. Let's go back to our development environment, and if we go to, okay, right here, I don't even know when I added this triple HTTP right here. All right, so let's save that. And again, I think there was something else that I kind of discovered, the function that is actually called a keyboard right here. I think I did not actually spell that the way that it should just basically be. So this is the first one, and this is the second place I called it, right? So we should be try to spell this right. This is keyboard, and also if we check up here, this should be keyboard. So let's add a B there, and then save the changes. Then of course we need to re-upload this to the server. All right, so has been uploaded. So let's try to take a look at that from our phone right here. So let me swipe off, and I want to clear everything again. All right, so if I hit on start, and this time around, okay, we're getting a response now, right? So here is the message, I mean the image coming back for us. At least we are able to see the image returned back to us, but we are not seeing the buttons yet. So we need to just take a look at how we can actually debug that part, but at least we're able to get this particular image on the screen for ourselves. Okay, so let's find out why the keyboard is not actually showing up. And to do that, if we go back to our development environment right here, not here but right here. All right, so I've done a bunch of debugging off camera, and what I can actually find right here is within this particular line. Okay, so the way that we're referencing to this particular thing in here, this needs to basically be like an array on its own. Okay, so right here, after we kind of mentioned this web app right here, the next thing that we basically want to do is once we throw in our arrow right here, want to go ahead and then make sure that this stays like an array. Okay, so we need to close that right there. So let's throw in the closing array right there, and this is just gonna get close with this, and that's just basically how that is actually done. Okay, and I believe that this should be able to solve our issues. So what I want to do right now is I want to re-upload this to the server, and to do that, if we go to right here, I want to go ahead and try that again. This is gonna be both. Let's select that and then try to re-upload that, and then let's go to our mirrored phone right here, and I want us to just try this. So let's first of all, let's refresh or clear the cache rather, and that seems like it has gone away. So if we now go ahead and hit on the start, and it responds with the image again right here, but then the buttons are still not actually coming out. So what's still gonna deal with that anyway? Oh, sorry, I think we're gonna need we need a URL right here. Okay, so this is basically gonna be within this square brackets. We're gonna throw in this, and this is gonna be this way, and we need to just throw in URL right here. So because this is just basically going to serve as a URL, right? So we need to like basically have that right there. Okay, and this needs to be in quotes. So let's try to make sure that the code actually exists right there. So I want to save changes and then re-upload again. And I'm sorry that we're kind of doing this too many times, but that's it when it comes to development, and we can make quite a lot of issues. I mean, a lot of mistakes at times. Let's re-upload that, and I want to try that again. So if I swipe up, first of all, let me clear the cache. And once that is done clearing, let's hit on start. And okay, so it's now working, guys. So that's just basically what the error is, guys. So you just need to basically format it this way. So this is the beginning of the code. I do not actually have any other thing that I changed except those ones that we did together. You remember when we changed the HTTPS right here, we removed an extra HTTP threading right there, and every other thing is just basically the same. So you can take a look at the code, and if yours is not the same, you can basically modify. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I think I'm going to basically have this put up on something like GitHub, so that any of you who would like to get that from GitHub can actually have access to that. All right, so if we want to do the final testing, we can right now if we hit on something like channel, that's what is going to happen. It's going to bring up this, and we can actually hit on open to open the channel, and it's going to take us to our YouTube channel, and that is just that. So I want to go back, and the next thing is to hit on the videos, and it's going to bring this up. So if you hit the video button right here, it's going to take you to the section where you should be able to select all the videos that belongs to this particular channel. And then the contact is right here. We hit on the contact, and we need to change this text right here. Okay, so if we go back to our code, you see where we're talking about right here, we need to change this. This is supposed to be contact. Okay, and I think that one does not actually need me to re-upload. You can do that, and then you can do the re-uploading yourself if you're actually working online, but be sure that you're actually going to get this as contact when I send it to something like GitHub. All right, so let's continue the tests. I think the next one we need to do is okay, about us page. Let's see whether we will be able to pull up a new web page here. So if I hit on start, you see that it pulls that up, right? It pulls that up. So let's see whether that is actually going to load. Ah. So this is it. Sorry, I did not actually show you this page when I first touched it. Okay, but it's working just fine. So this is the web page, if this were to normally most of those applications on Git on Telegram, they normally touch a logo like this, and then it will be mining some sort of a coins for them like that. Okay, so you can whatever you want to do, maybe you are using JavaScript or whatever you are using, you can put that up right there and they'll be mining within this particular interface. Okay, all right, so whatever buttons you have on that web page, this just typically works like a browser, right? So that's just that. I believe that you guys kind of understand this video, and if you need more clarifications, you can drop some comments in the comment section below. And for any of you who would like some private class or some private coaching, you can also hit me up on my WhatsApp using my phone number right there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.